Hi, my name's Thomas Campbell, and welcome to Photography Basics for Art Directors. Curriculum development has been slow to embrace technological advancements over the years. There's generally been excitement for new technology, but then typically poor adoption rates. Throughout curriculum design history, visuals were used as a supplement to lectures, which generally had low impact. Just like in graphic design, engaging visuals that better demonstrate the authentic real-world situations have more impact for curriculum design, according to Reiser. Leadership would like more synergy between the design and the photos shot for the design, so images and designs have more total impact and work better together. To conduct a needs assessment, we followed the methodology by Tim Slade. Our goal was that graphic designers should have a working photography knowledge to art direct photo shoots for their design projects. Our method was graphic designers were given a survey with questions about photography to gauge their practical knowledge. Our results were that 85% of graphic designers in our department had some familiarity with photography, but not the technical aspects of it. Lowest scores were on lens selection and color temperature. Our solution is to design curriculum to teach photography basics, focusing on color and lens selection to graphic designers to aid them in art direction. Based on the needs assessment, we set the following goals. Identify sources of light and their color. Describe how to adjust to lighting color differences within a location. Identify properties of wide and telephoto lenses in relation to portraits. And describe how to select a lens for a particular type of portrait. The color of light. Color is measured on the Kelvin color temperature scale. These are things you've probably seen on a light bulb package. While there are details of different lights, we need to just break it down to focus on three things. First of all, the daylight and camera flashes are the same at about 5500 Kelvin. Fluorescent lights are about 4000 Kelvin, and incandescent lights are about 2500 Kelvin. These are the gels that we can put on light sources to change the color temperature. But we break it down and you really only need to learn two: color temperature blue and color temperature orange. Color temperature blue can go on an incandescent light to make it look like daylight, but more commonly, color temperature orange goes on a flash to match incandescent lights. Gels are plastic sheets that can just wrap around a light, or they can be taped to a light. Let's take a break for a class discussion. Work together and discuss how you would approach creating a portrait in this lighting situation to get consistent color temperature in the final image. The solution is to turn out the lights inside, and we use flashes which have a daylight color temperature balance. These color temperatures match the windows. See, we have lots of blue light coming in from the windows, but then we have orange lights from the ceiling square lights and also from the circular can lights. And then on the back wall, we have more orange lights. All these incandescents could be gelled with color temperature blue to match the blue light coming in, but the easiest thing is just to turn them off and to match the daylight with your flashes, which already shoot in daylight color. This is a very extreme example of a focal length difference between telephoto and wide. This is the same model in the same place, but the one on the left is a telephoto and the one on the right is a wide angle. Notice that the telephoto is more flattering. The telephoto brings the background up to it and blurs it more, and the wide angle shows more of her environment. JAWS is what's known as a dolly zoom. The video starts as a telephoto and the camera moves closer to the subject while zooming out to be a wide angle. Notice that the seagrass in the background seems to get farther away, That you can see the environment changing as the tent comes into view on the left and his nose becomes larger in proportion to his face. This is not a dolly zoom because the focal length stays the same as the camera gets closer to dolly. In performing a task analysis, it's important to note that images demonstrating the task positively impact the student's understanding according to Tyner. Tools needed to select the optimal lens are cameras and lenses in varying focal length. First step is to access a location to photograph. You may be forced to use a wide angle lens because the room is small, like the photograph on the right, but you may be outside with plenty of room, like the photograph on the left. The next step is to determine the creative goal of the image. Do you want to show the environment and have it tell about the subject, like the photo of Brene Brown in her home on the left? Or do you want to isolate the subject and make it just about them, like the telephoto photo of my daughter on the right? And finally, you want to determine the framing of your subject. If you want to show more of their body, like a full-length photo, you might need a wider lens so that you can get more of them in the photo. This assessment is to gauge the usefulness and the quality of this program, according to Krubevnikov. A link to the assessment is in the video description, and all questions are posted here as well. Following the class, we will conduct a real-world test to test and reinforce what was learned. We want to assess the learning and knowledge transfer to find out the learner satisfaction and evaluate the outcomes. I ensured the quality of this design by using authentic real-world examples, reviewing them with other photographers for input, and delivering this lesson to a non-photographer to get feedback on the design and effectiveness. I used authentic, familiar, and humorous examples that would be memorable. On each slide, I chunked the details into main and important points, such as ignoring 6 of the gels and only teaching what the 2 most important were to, and focusing on the color temperature of the 3 main sources of light that photographers deal with: daylight, fluorescent, and incandescent. This course has changed the way that I design and deliver training by having to learn to focus on the important parts instead of trying to do too much. When you don't break it down into chunks and you don't use quality visuals, it's easy for the learner's eyes to just glaze over. It's like trying to juggle too many balls and they all end up falling. You have to make the learning manageable and fun. Thank you very much for the class. It's been a wonderful semester.